I recently had the need to spin up an NT4 server to do some stuff with. I find it much easier having a VM just to fiddle around with. Dealing with real steel and possibly breaking an install of NT4 server just sort of, I don't know, it's the stuff nightmares made of. It's, if you break NT4 on hardware, it's just really kind of a pain in the ass to fix. So I'm going to spin it up on Proxmox. I've never done that before. I did it a few times, and I think I got it down to a decent working configuration now. Thought I'd share how to do it. Didn't find a whole lot out there on NT4, especially enterprise server, and on modern Proxmox were some articles from like 12, 13 years ago. So kind of what we're going to go through here is, oh, you're going to need some ISOs. Go find them out there. You're going to need an NT4 ISO. I'm assuming this all works with NT4 server, advanced server, most of the flavors. You're going to need to find an ISO of Service Pack 6. If you can find a slipstream one, that would be even better. I wasn't able to find one for enterprise server with SP6 slipstream, so I got to go through it, do a bunch of reboots, progress bar, reboot, blah, 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 the usual old world stuff. And then we're going to test it, make sure it works, clone it just to make sure everything sets. It'll have VNC installed on it, type VNC for remote access. There is some weirdness in the way Proxmox handles the display with the mouse pointer and whatnot. But we're going to put VNC on there and then make a template out of it and, be able to spin up NT4 enterprise server on demand. I'll go through the settings here and let's just get started, I guess. Got my Proxmox environment 8.4. I have all my notes here. And we're going to go through and make sure that it's all set up correctly and then start installing it. And where do you go? The usual place, create VM. I'm going to name this NTES6. Sorry, NTES4 SP6. Next, storage is going to be local. Oh, CD, duh. I need the NT CD-ROM. And let's say guest OS is Windows. Windows 2000 seems to be close enough. SCSI controller, don't care. Graphics, default. Disk. We're going to make it a 4 gig C drive. Can't make it any bigger. Would love to be able to, but Partition Magic 3 you cannot install on NT server. So away we go with that. Well, it doesn't matter. It's a lab environment. You're not going to use this in production, right? Right? CPU, I have tried a number of these, and the only one that works is Pentium. Memory, we're going to say 128. I'm just going to set my VLAN, and we're going to change this manually here in a second. Doing some research, I'm going to make this a PCNet AMD. If you edit this file, it appears like you can change this to PCNet. I made the change. Not sure if it actually took. Let's see if it did. If we go to hardware, network device, haha, there it is. You can change it. Otherwise, if you go over here in this directory and vi105.conf, you can manually change net 0 to be PCNet equals here, and it will work that way as well. Otherwise, if you modify this file right here, add that line to it right there. I'll leave it on the screen so you can see it. Add that in there, and you'll be able to do it inside of the user interface. Eventually, I'm going to set the OUI, the Mac, to be an actual AMD one, but for now, we're just going to leave that alone. A couple things we also want to do in the options. Use tablet for pointer, turn that off. That is an attempt at getting some of the UI quirkiness to go away. Hardware virtualization, we are going to turn off. I have read you can turn that back on after SP6, but that has not worked for me. Let's just double check here. Hardware, everything looks good. console and do a start now. You're going to see what I mean about some of the user interface weirdness once we get up into graphical mode. If you get a blue screen here, then you've set something wrong, like your processor or one of the other options in there. I tried a bunch of different settings. The only one that I've been able to get work is Pentium, which, again, lab environment. Who cares? So you continue a bazillion page downs. Come on. F8 to agree. It matches. Create. C drive. NTFS, and away it goes. And I will pause here while it's running. And we are back. Take the default. Let's skip the exhaustive. Don't particularly care. It's not a bunch of old SCSI drives. And we're doing more file copies. This isn't too bad. The last one was a little longer. Once again, the progress bar dance. How much of your time has been spent watching progress bars? I don't want to know. Alrighty. Base is installed. Hit reboot. Now you're going to see some of the wonkiness in the user interface. And if anybody knows a way to fix that, by the way, Spice is not an option because, well, Spice doesn't run on Windows NT 4. I think the oldest I saw was XP. There might be a 2000, but I think XP is the oldest one I've seen. All right. That screen always freaks me out. Looks like a blue screen, but it's actually converting it to NTFS from FAT. It's only 4 gigs, so it's quick. Like I said, I did try Partition Magic 4, and it comes back with a message says you cannot install this on server. I don't know why. What's the difference between workstation and server? Because I've done it on workstation a bunch. All right, first step, note. So look at how the mouse is off here. I think you can see it over the screen. My host and my guest mouse are off quite a bit. You just got to kind of fumble around. We're going to take the vast majority of defaults here. Who is it? It is Systems Support for Initech, of course. What is our product ID? You're going to have to find your own. What did I miss? There we go. I'm going to go 50 concurrent. We're going to name this NTES4SP6, even though there's no service pack yet. It defaults to primary. We're going to make it standalone. Remember, ultimately, this is going to become a template. No, don't need an EREP. Default. Don't want IIS. And the one that does work is the AMD. We hit start search. Find it. Take the defaults. We're going to say yes, take DHCP. There's no reason to give it a static on a template. And away we go with more progress bars. There's probably a way. I think on NT4 you could serve it an answer file to automate this. I think you could. I honestly don't remember where that came in. Might have been 2000 where that was introduced for NT. 95 and 98 had some but I don't know about NT4. Oh, if you want to automate, you probably could. We're going to leave it as work group. Finish setup. Where are we? We are in Central Time. There we go. Alrighty. I've tried various settings here, and the most I've been able to do is 65K at 800 by 600. We'll test it. Looks decent. Not great, but good enough. It's a server. It's a lab. Who cares? Copy, 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 copy files here. There we are. You know, if you do old retro computing, especially Windows, you get used to progress bars and reboots, and progress bars and reboots. Windows 95. I see you're trying to log in. Do you want to reboot? I see you're trying to run Word. Reboot. Yeah, this is interesting. It says one or more minor errors. I don't see how these are errors. Set the page file, and crash dump was enabled. I don't see those as errors. But okay. Whatever, Windows NT setup. I don't know why, but this blue screen here, you know, one quick look and it looks like a blue screen of death. Alrighty, we got our first login. Let's bring up our little remote, hit send Control Alt Delete, and our mouse cursor is off. And we got our base install here. Now, the first thing it's going to do, at least the one that I ran that I'm using here, is it installs Service Pack 3 first thing up, first time. So it's going to say, hey, yo, install Service Pack 3, which I will just let it do. We're just going to run the defaults. No, don't need an uninstall. Let's save disk space. It's only 4 gigs. And progress bar. So we'll be back here in a minute when that's done. It has been updated. Okay. Take a shot every time I say progress bar. How about that? And it's Chicago, so take a shot of Malort for every time I say progress bar. Not. Ugh, Malort. That's what, reboot 3? I don't know. Has anybody been counting? Service Pack 6. The number of reboots needed to get it to there. Probably about 6. If anybody knows how to make this mouse pointer not do this stuff inside of old Windows, Proxmox, please comment. I'd love to know how to fix it. I haven't been able to find any way. Nothing I've done so far has fixed it. Eventually with VNC, we'll just come in remote over VNC and it won't matter. Yep. We don't have more than 256. We don't want to show this every time. So if you hit continue here, you can install other stuff. There is a second CD-ROM for Enterprise Server that had other stuff on it. Oh, let's do a one double check here. Let's come on. This mouse cursor is annoying. Let's make sure we get an IP address. And we are, it is 42.50. That is good. So now we can come over here back to Proxmox. Let's get rid of this CD-ROM and let's put in Service Pack 6. And it should auto run. And there it is. Install, install, open. Except we don't need backups. This takes a little while. Progress bar shot. I will once again pause and we'll be back when it's done copying. That wasn't that long. couple of minutes. Restart. Reboot what? 4, 5? I lost track. Lost track of losing track. So now what do we got? NT4 server, 4 gig disk, network operational, video working. Service Pack 3 was installed, reboot Service Pack 6 installed, and technically we now have a working NT4 server. How long did that take? I don't know, 10 minutes or so once you got everything ready and set up. Let's log in once and we will install VNC so we can get a better user interface experience. Tight VNC 1.3 is what I tend to use on my 90s era Windows machines, even 2000 and so. Tight VNC just works pretty well, and you can use modern VNC clients with it. Just no encryption. First time you log in after Service Pack 6, it's, doing Windows stuff, chugging in the background first time up. It gets better after the first reboot. Yeah, you can see it doing something there. So now we can actually go over here and let's kick out that CD-ROM. We don't need it anymore. And let's just double check here. We got C drive. We've only used 250 meg out of our 4 gig disk. Not bad. And I have a share sitting on my network. Where we're going to grab tight VNC from. Letter T, tight VNC 1.3. Take the defaults. I am going to register service. Can't do that on 95, 98, but you can on NT. Yep, I know. We're going to set it. All right. VNC is installed. Let's get our IP address so we know what to connect to since it's a DHCP issued. 50. Close that. Make it 50. And note I'm on a modern VNC client. There you go. Now our mouse cursor is actually set up right, which, funny, we don't really need it right now, but we can click around just to make sure. C drive. In temp. Actually, everything looks good. It's IE2. We're not going to do IE3. This is just bare bones, super minimalist. No users, nothing. Just we're going to turn this into a template. I'm going to give it a once over. We'll do a stop. Yes. Let's go to hardware. Make sure no CD-ROM. PC net is set 128 default. Let's go to options. Name. Hardware no. No. So let's go over here and let's convert that to a template. Doesn't take too long. There we go. We got a template. All right, right now we got a working basic machine. So let's go over here and let's clone it. I'm not going to do linked. I'm going to do full. I'm going to name this NTS002 because I already have another one. Physical machine. Now let's clone it. VM 106 is coming up. We'll set a static IP on this one. And that's it. And you can deploy Windows server VMs. You know, if you're going to put it into a Windows NT domain, I'm relatively sure you got to change the SID. I don't remember how to do that on NT4. I'll have to figure it out one of these days. But yeah, generate a new SID. So you got a new SID on every deployment. And of course, that does make a difference on Active Directory, but this is pre-AD, and I think it's, I mean, I'm sure, 99% sure it still mattered for SMB, SMB access back. Oh, maybe, probably. Let's just say if you can generate a new SID, you probably should. All right, so of course it's going to have a different IP than I had before. '51. Oh man, it's hard to see, isn't it? You know, let's open up the console so we can see this any bigger. That's a little bit better, yeah. So let's go. Let's change my IP to my real one. I'll show you how we can get into it. Once again, so let's change our name first thing up. This is going to be MTS002. And go to protocols, TCP IP. We're going to make this static. And we're going to say DNS. Let's add whatever your DNS server is. And another reboot, which that should be about the last reboot, right? Oh, come on. Do your reboot. How long did this take start? I don't know, 10, 15 minutes, 20 minutes maybe? It's pretty quick. Then you get yourself a template. By the way, you can do the same thing for NT Workstation. It should also work for, I don't know, pretty much any of the NT stuff. Probably works for 2002, as is. All right. Console looks okay. Let's come in over VNC, make sure it works. Got our static IP. Send a control delete. Boom. Let's see. There's my default gateway. No, my mouse cursor now is actually accurate. There we go. Well, let's see if internal DNS is resolving. I've had some weird stuff with IO domains and NT4. There we go. .io domains. I wonder if that, like, if there's some conflict in the .io name or something with the operating system. I don't know. At any rate, there it is, and now we can log off. Boom. Close that. Let's go over here and look. NT002. We are doing good. And at that point, you know what? Got yourself an NT4 server. Anyways, that's about it. Laters.